It's 11. Live on Saturday morning from the #1 Saturday morning newscast in the nation, Doug Proffitt, Julie Koenig, and Ashley Chisholm. This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Dawn breaks over Kentuckiana. Look at this beautiful picture from our Sky 11. Our Julie Koenig is up in Sky 11. We'll be hearing from her in just a moment. Welcome to our extended coverage of our Saturday morning news. I'm Jean West.
Welcome to you, Jean. Good to have you here with us on Saturday morning. And hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt. We're going to be on the air with you here for 4 hours this morning, right till 11 a.m. to bring you the latest as we hope for the big meltdown. And here's Ashley Chisholm to tell us just how warm it's going to get today. Hello, Ashley.
Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Jean, and everyone else. Look at these temperatures to start out, and you can tell it's going to be warmer because we already have temperatures in the teens finally this week. The first time this week, most stations are reporting in the double digits. 17 in Evansville, 16. Wesley Nelson calls in from Seymour, Indiana. Covington even has 10, 7 and 8 from Bowling Green to Fort Knox. But the cold spot around the entire region, Bryant, Morrison, Sulphur, Kentucky out in Henry County reporting 4 below. But that should start to rebound back up very shortly here. So temperatures are already a little bit warmer, and it will keep warming throughout the day. Here's the forecast. Becoming partly to mostly sunny after some morning fog. High temperature up to 35 degrees. Tonight, patchy fog, more clouds moving in, but the low, because of those clouds, will stay fairly warm. 25 to 28 degrees tonight. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, could see a few sprinkles, and the high temperature near 40. Doug and Jean?
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Now let's go back up to Julie Koenig, who's up in Sky 11, checking out the situation with the roads across Kentuckiana. Julie, you've seen a couple of minor traffic problems already this morning.
Yes, that's correct. At least one we believe is going to be clearing up right away. We've no longer got a semi that's blocking eastbound 64. We're flying over 64 just outside of the downtown area right now. There is still a police vehicle there at the Story Avenue exit. It had been diverting traffic off 64 eastbound to Story Avenue. The truck was stranded probably about 3/4 of a mile east of there, but as we can see now, the truck is gone. So traffic is still being diverted off of Story Avenue, but hopefully that situation is going to clear up very soon, and you won't have to take a detour. As far as the other interstates through downtown, 65 and 71, both traveling very well. We can see pavement. So hopefully your drive into downtown won't be too slippery. Traffic moving across the Kennedy, the Clark Memorial Bridge, and the Sherman-Minton also looking good. We are going to leave the downtown area and head toward the fairgrounds. I know there's a lot of activities going on there, so we'll check out 264, 65 in that vicinity, some of the other access roads to the fairgrounds, and let you know what you can expect if you're heading that direction later today. Jean and Doug.
Yeah, Julie, I know the ice fog has been a problem the last couple of days. Can you see from Sky 11? Does it look like it's developing today?
I'm not sure if it's that or if it's just kind of a haze. It always kind of looks this way as we get closer to sunup, and as you can see, the sun's just starting to come up over the horizon. So anyway, I don't think it's a real big problem today, but we'll let you know if it does develop.
Okay, Julie, thank you very much.
Thanks, Julie Koenig, reporting up in Sky 11 for us.
Well, as Julie just said, the main roads may be looking much better, but the secondary roads where most of us live are still a mess this morning. In fact, many people still can't leave their houses. So if you have a four-wheel drive, some nurses still need your help. The Visiting Nurses Association needs your help getting nurses to shut-ins around town. And if you can help, you've got a 4x4, call 584-2456. That's the Visiting Nurses Association. And others are also in need of help in emergency situations. And if you have a four-wheel drive and you can help out or you need a ride at an emergency, you can still call that line downtown. It is 574-3900.
All right, let's go back to the command center where our Jim Turner has been this morning. Jim, they were making quite a request for those four-wheel drives all week, and it seemed to have helped them out a lot there.
The four-wheel drive volunteers saved the day throughout this week, Gene. So many people needed help. They couldn't get around. Doctors and nurses, for instance. We reported it all week, and the volunteers came to the rescue. I think they, for the most part, got the help they needed, and you just gave the number a moment ago. They still need that help this weekend, believe it or not. We should be out of the woods maybe by tomorrow, but this weekend they could still use the volunteers. Right now we're going to talk to Linda Risk, who's with the Louisville Police Department. She has been working a lot this week. Back on normal shifts, though, a couple days ago, right?
That's right. We're back to work now. Normal procedure, pretty much. Except we're coming over here to help out whenever they need help.
You're another of the people here on the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Shift. What have you seen so far, and what have you heard about overnight in Louisville?
Overnight doesn't seem to be too bad. I think everybody's finally getting the clue to stay off the streets and keep warm and just trying to get back to normal.
Since you have been here as someone who works in communications in the Louisville Police Department, what has been your job throughout the week at the command center?
Pretty much matching four-wheel drivers up with people that need rides. That's pretty much been it.
We were talking a moment ago about the volunteers and the four-wheel drives. Are you surprised at the turnout, the response to that number that's been on the screens throughout the week?
I have. I've been thrilled. We all appreciate it. Believe it or not, it's really greatly appreciated. I had to wake one man up at 7 o'clock this morning, but he was very nice about it, and he helped out, and I appreciated it.
You mean he had called in to volunteer?
Yesterday, and said he'd be ready for runs today or tomorrow, so he's getting them.
And you called him and got him out of bed.
I got him out of bed. He was so sleepy. He said, "What is this?" I said, "You volunteered?" He said, "I did. Yes, I'll do it." I said, "Okay."
Okay, well, Linda Risk, we'll let you get back to work here. Thanks for taking a minute to join us. And once again, Doug and Jean, we'll be here throughout the morning. The good news is that all is fairly quiet here. Of course, the activity picks up as the day goes on, especially as people start hitting the streets again. But we'll hope that it's very warm and that the snow melts a lot today and that everyone here can get a break.
Right, Jim, thanks so much, Jim Turner, down at the Command Central, who's been coordinating all the efforts to get you out and about where you need to be this week.
Well, when the news on Saturday morning continues here on WHAS, we're going to take a look at some of the big national stories making news across the U.S. You're watching Saturday Morning live only on WHAS, the only Saturday morning news in town. 7:38. Sky 11 is making its way south toward the fairgrounds. And Jean, there's something about the fairgrounds you need to tell everybody, isn't there?
That's right. The U of L Southern Miss game is on, and the folks at the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center want you to know that the parking areas have been cleared and that the perimeter roads and all entrances are clear and open. So if you need to get there, head on out. We do need to bring you up to date on some other news that's happening around the country. The fate of figure skater Tanya Harding is in the hands of a Portland, Oregon grand jury this morning. A jury has been meeting to decide whether to indict Harding for the alleged plot against her primary rival, Nancy Kerrigan. 4 men have already been charged in that attack. Harding denies any involvement. She does admit, however, that her training is being overshadowed by the investigation. Harding says her main goal is to win the gold medal in next month's Winter Olympics.
Other news for you. One recent verdict is provoking strong reaction from men and women across the country this morning. Lorena Bobbitt, the woman who sexually mutilated her husband, will not spend any time in jail. After deliberating for 7 hours, a Virginia jury ruled Bobbitt was not guilty by reason of insanity. Apparently, the jury believed Bobbitt's claims of being a battered wife.
And if they let him off, they should have let her off, too.
I think she needs extensive psychological help. I think she should have been guilty by insanity, because any woman that, I'm sorry, being a man, no way, no matter how angry a person gets, should never have a limb taken off of them.
Bobbitt will undergo a psychiatric evaluation for 45 days at a mental hospital. Doctors will then decide if she should be committed to a psychiatric hospital. Some journalists covering the Lorena Bobbitt trial in Manassas, Virginia, are recovering from another shock. This blaze broke out early yesterday morning at the Old Town Inn, a temporary home to many reporters and photojournalists covering the highly publicized trial. There was some structural damage, but luckily no reports of injuries and no word yet on how that fire started.
All right, we'll take a look at how things are shaping up this weekend. Our Ashley Chisholm is up next with her forecast. But again, our live coverage continues. Special edition Saturday morning. You're looking at live pictures of the area near Fisher Packing as Kentuckiana wakes up this Saturday morning. We'll be...
We got a TV controller. I don't want to...
Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm, the WHAS 11 Storm Team.
Here's the satellite picture showing brighter white clouds well to our north. That's where they'll stay mostly today, but what we're watching is this area of cloudiness over Texas and Louisiana. There's a lot of south winds coming in off the Gulf, southwest winds pulling in moisture from the Pacific Ocean. That means a lot of clouds over Texas and a little rain. They've been seeing showers over the past couple of days, but all that's going to be slowly working its way over Kentucky and through the weekend on into the work week for Tuesday and Wednesday. Looks like we'll see some rain. Tomorrow, maybe just some sprinkles, but those clouds are working their way into the region, and so are warmer temperatures. 13 degrees to start out this Saturday morning, 92% humidity, south winds again, bringing in the milder air at 6 miles an hour, but still gives us a wind chill this morning. It makes it feel like 6 degrees outside. Pressure rising from 30.47 inches. The high yesterday up to 24 degrees. The low this morning, so far our current temperature at 13. No rain, no snow. Looks like we'll stay fairly dry today, but tomorrow maybe some sprinkles again, but no big deal as far as that is concerned. 2 6300ths is the total for the month so far. On the weather map today, we've got a front just to our north. That's where the clouds are riding along. But again, they're going to stay that way because this front is not going to move on through. It's just sort of going to slide to the east as it takes that southeast tilt and to the northwest. So this is going to move on out, but it won't come through our region. High pressure taking control today, but then more clouds moving in again with all that moisture. Tomorrow, south and southwest winds will continue. We'll see more clouds, then some sprinkles of rain, but it doesn't look all that bad tomorrow, just a little bit wet. And Monday we should see somewhat of a break, but Tuesday and Wednesday it does look like rain definitely. Highs tomorrow right around 40 degrees, so it continues to get better. Here's the forecast for today. Becoming partly to mostly sunny after just a little bit of light fog this morning. We do have a few areas reporting fog, but nothing too bad. High temperature today up to 35. Tonight, patchy fog developing, more clouds moving in, down to about 25 to 28 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a few sprinkles possible. Highs right near 39 to 40 degrees. Doug and Jean.
Thanks a lot, Ashley. Again, we're up in the air for you this morning with our exclusive Sky 11 coverage for one reason. Once people start shaking cabin fever, they're going to hit the roads, and you're really down to one lane, so there's going to be those long lines. Let's go to Julie Koenig.
Up in Sky 11. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Jean. Hi, Doug. Another company and I'm sure a lot of employees that are anxious to get back to work this week. UPS, we're hovering here near Standiford Field where there are a bunch of UPS jets all lined up ready to take off. I think, Doug, you had mentioned that this snow had caused them a great deal of headaches in trying to get their products out and all those very important deliveries. I know we were waiting on a heater for Sky 11, which UPS was kind enough to get to us yesterday. There you can see a jet taking off. We just were circling the fairgrounds. A lot of events going on today. The U of L basketball game, a sport boat vacation show, also a business opportunity expo. As we can tell you, Jean, you mentioned the parking lots are clear. They look pretty good. There's plenty of room to get in. Crittenden Drive looks great. 65 right now near the fairgrounds in Standiford Field is a little slow in the northbound lane. Could be because folks are trying to get to the airport or get to the fairgrounds, but it clears up right after you pass Crittenden Drive. Other than that, 264 looking good in this area, and we'll be heading a little bit further south to check out the outer loop region next and the Gene Snyder Freeway, and let you know how traffic's moving down in southern Jefferson County this Saturday morning. Gene and Doug.
There go those jets off the runway. I bet you some of them are going to Florida, Jean.
Oh, I bet they are. And we want to remind you that the folks at the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center want you to know that traffic's going to be pretty heavy between 11 and 4. The U of L Southern Miss game is at 1 o'clock. So keep that in mind. But they say the parking areas have been cleared off, so you shouldn't have any problem getting in and parking. Just be prepared for the traffic. Okay, we'll be back in just 2 minutes on Saturday morning. Chuck Olmstead is live on Melwood, and Fisher Meat Packing Plant. We'll check in with him next.
Buick GMC truck, Highway 131 Clarksville, and now 2005 Highway 62 in Jeffersonville.
Most people are always trying to sell you something. Hello, I'm Don Sloan, and I want to buy your...
And welcome back to this special edition of Saturday Morning. We have 13 degrees in Kentuckiana. Stay with us over the next several hours until 11 o'clock. We'll be interviewing the U.S. Postmaster, MSD. We're going to have a plumber here for you to talk about your pipes. The AAA is going to talk to us, and a firefighter. But first, right now, let's check in again with Chuck Olmstead. He's down at Fisher Meat Packing Company on Melwood Avenue.
That's one of the businesses trying to get back on its feet after a 4-day break. Chuck?
Good morning, gang. They usually don't work a full Saturday shift here at Fisher Packing Company, but of course the storm has changed all that. This was a scene in the past hour as workers started arriving here on Melwood Avenue. They're obviously hoping to make up for lost time and, more importantly, lost money.
Second, and I'm gonna work tomorrow, so I don't know if it'll be double time tomorrow or not.
We just lost 3 days.
That's still money out of your pocket.
Yeah. Well, you know, we just got to come in here and do what we got to do.
What about tomorrow? You got to work tomorrow too?
No, hopefully not.
Although some workers say they may have to come back here on the traditional day of rest, Sunday, as the company talks in terms of losing hundreds of thousands of dollars because they couldn't get their bologna and bacon and other products off of the highways where their trucks were stranded into the supermarkets. This is Chuck Homestead live outside of Fisher Packing. Gene, Doug, back to you.
We're sitting here saying we love bacon. Thanks a lot, Chuck.
I'm glad that bacon's getting out. Now, when the news channel continues on WHAS Saturday morning, we'll meet a man who's trying to beat the cold weather by having a little fun. We'll be right back as our live special coverage continues.
Of us, the ice and snow have been major hassles, no doubt about that, and more than a few of us are getting pretty cranky about all the inconveniences. Then there is Jeff Wilson. His art imitates our lives, ice and snow, wherever we go, especially on the cars.
Artistic in nature, or is this the first artistic endeavor?
I decided to knock the icicles off the house and just decided to have a little fun with it. Everyone's mad about the weather, depressed about it. I'm a happy guy.
This happy guy from St. Matthews even got the icicles from his neighbors' homes to decorate the car that his friends call a boat.
So is it do okay? Oh, I've got 400 pounds of sand in the back. Haven't been stuck yet. Knock on wood. Or I guess I should say knock on ice.
Well, and until the sun melts it away, Jeff and his car Art will be turning heads wherever they travel. I wonder if he ripped some of the roof off his neighbor's house with those things.
I've actually seen some hairstyles that look like that. Stay with us. Our special edition Saturday morning continues. We'll talk about your pipes with the plumber, your sewer drains with MSD, and your mail with the postmaster. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple of moments.
We're Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11. Live on Saturday morning from the #1 rated Saturday morning newscast in the nation. Doug Proffitt, Julie Koenig, Ashley Chisholm, and Fred Wishy. This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
And from the news leader this Saturday morning, special extended live coverage on Saturday morning, a special edition. We're covering the winter storm of '94. Hopefully today is going to be the big thaw. And live at 8 o'clock, our exclusive pictures from Sky 11. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday morning. I'm Doug Proffitt, and this morning we're welcoming Gene West with us. Hello,
Thank
Gene.
you, Doug. Hello, everybody. Stay with us this hour, and the next 3 hours we're going to be bringing you all kinds of information. We're going to tell you what you need to do with your pipes as we thaw out. We're going to be telling you about the sewer drainage as the snow starts to melt, and you'll be wondering about your mail today. We're going to try to answer some questions for you there.
That's all bills anyway. Why do we want it?
I know it, bills and junk mail, but I kind of look forward to the junk mail. Let's get a check on our weather now with Ashley Chisholm. Ashley?
Well, here's what we have in place today. A high-pressure system down to our south. That is giving us south and southwest winds that'll pull in milder air. We will see sunshine today, but first we've got to get rid of a little morning fog. After about 10 o'clock or so, things will start to look up. This front is not going to come through. It's just going to slide to the east, trapping all the very cold air to our northeast. Highs today. Look at this, above freezing, mid-30s here. To all the 20s will stay to our northeast, and even Nashville may get up into the mid-40s today. So it's looking better. Now we have to deal with a sloppy, muddy mess coming up later after this rain and the warm-up. But for the weekend, it will start to melt that snow. Becoming partly to mostly sunny today, up to 35. Tonight, patchy fog again, more clouds, 28. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles with highs near 40.
All right, Ashley, thank you very much.
Well, if you weren't able to make it to work this week or you've just been cooped up in your house, then getting out and about may sound good to you today. So for the best view of our roadways, let's go to our Julie Koenig.
Hello, Julie.
Hello, Doug. Hello, Gene, and good morning, everyone. We're heading back north on 65 now. We're going to be checking out an accident, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. Let's take a look at how the road looks. We just passed the fairgrounds, heading north again on 65. Traffic now moving fairly well. It was a little slow before, but it seems to have picked up now. We just were flying over the southern parts of the interstate by Gene Snyder Freeway and the outer loop. Both look good. We didn't see any traffic problems there, although both still have some snow and ice on them, so be very careful if you're traveling out in that vicinity. Preston Highway looks great this morning, down to pavement there, and should be a really easy drive for you on Preston Highway. Now, about that accident, we were told that there was an accident with a car that may have flipped over on northbound 65 at the Floyd Street overpass. Now, that's right near the vicinity of Jewish Hospital. So we are headed that direction, and we will check it out and let you see it live a little later on Saturday morning. Gene and Doug.
Julie Koenig, thank you very much.
Now, as you can see from those live pictures, there is still snow everywhere. But if you're trying to get out of town this weekend, there is some good news for you. Yesterday at around 1 o'clock, all the highways were opened in Kentucky. Now, a word of caution. While they are open, they are still slick and dangerous. So be sure to allow yourself plenty of travel time.
A lot of long lines out there. Well, as far as getting around town today, one of your best bets is still going to be TARC. All TARC buses will be running their routes today, but be ready for a delay even for TARC. It's still slow going out there, and by the way, the TARC buses are still running for free.
It's been a long week for workers down at the command center in City Hall.
They've been keeping an eye on all the conditions throughout the city and county. Our Jim Turner live downtown this morning to bring us up to date as we get ready for the big thaw. Hello, Jim.
Hello again, Doug, and good morning to you and Gene once again here a little after 8 o'clock at the command center. As we've reported earlier in the morning, it's fairly quiet here as we look around the room. The phones are starting to ring now. We've heard a few calls, a few volunteer calls into that four-wheel drive line, and they still need the volunteers here Saturday morning, despite the fact that the roads are in better shape than we've seen them since last Sunday. They're trying to get some people from here to there throughout the city and throughout Jefferson County. And as you can see there, one man with a phone in each ear. It is starting to pick up a little. Of course, they're hoping that it remains fairly calm here today. Even through last night, they were very busy here at the command center. There was someone in just about every chair, someone on just about every phone, trying to respond to the needs of people throughout the community, the emergency needs. But so far here this morning, well, there goes another phone again. Maybe it is going to pick up. We'll hope, though, that with the roads improving, that for the most part it'll be a quiet day and a safe day here at the command center. Doug, Gene.
Much. Now, we want to talk to you about what you hope is probably going to land at your house today, and that is the mail. With us live on the phone this morning is the local U.S. Postmaster, Harvey Slentz. Good morning, Harvey.
Good morning, Doug.
How about the mail service? How's it looking? You see any improvement at all? Will people get their mail today?
Yeah, it's steadily picking up, Doug. All of our retail facilities are open, of course, for regular business today that are normally open on Saturday. And as far as delivery itself, we've got all the mail that will be on the street today. As far as getting into each subdivision, it's pretty much on a street-by-street basis. We have delivery is very much dependent upon the street conditions, of course. The snow's okay. Snow won't stop us, but when you can't stop on the street to park your vehicle to even get out of it, then that's what really slows us down. The snow piled up in front of boxes has been a problem, and a lot of your viewers have been very great about getting out and clearing in front of the box. And if we've got the box cleared, and if the street is passable, we can get through.
Mr. Slentz, this is Jean West. I'm joining Doug this morning. We got our mail yesterday. We're talking to our carrier. He had a heck of a time having to climb some hills. It's been slippery and stuff. Have your guys been okay? Have they had any problems, any accidents at all trying to deliver the mail this week?
Well, we've got about 800 carriers out right now on the street with the post office, and with 800 people out every day in these kind of conditions, you're going to have little minor fender benders. And, of course, along some of the major streets like Shelbyville Road, it's very slow going to get out there. We've had minor accidents, but nothing serious yet, thank goodness.
Harvey, let me ask you, so today some more people are going to get their mail, but most likely next week, right?
Well, we expect about 75% of the routes to be completed today, and we're starting again where we left off yesterday on the routes that are really problems. We started that process Thursday, going as far as we could on a route, and then stopping at the end of the day and starting up where we left off the next day. And today we hope should finish that process. I would say all but the very most impassable streets should get mail delivery today. We had carriers out as late last night as 6:30 in the evening, and I talked to a couple of customers at that time who just saw the carrier come past their house. So we will be out, and I think all but the most impassable routes will be getting mail service today.
Okay, thank you so much. Good deal. Thanks for joining us. Harvey Slentz, who's our postmaster, telling us about our mail delivery. Now, let's go to Sky 11. We understand that they're flying over an accident now. Julie?
That's correct, Gene. We found that accident. There is a car overturn. Let's take a look down at I-65 and 65 northbound and southbound. There's a traffic tie up in both directions. First, the southbound lane. That's where that overturned vehicle is. If you can see, cars are just kind of sneaking by. We are told by Bill Menish, one of our photographers who was driving in this vicinity, the reason is there's a layer of black ice on 65. This is at the Floyd Street overpass. Remember, overpasses always freeze up first, and there's enough moisture on the ground for that to be a concern today. It's right in the hospital, like near Jewish Hospital, the entire hospital complex. Now, in the northbound lane, there is a semi that appears to have slipped and looks like it's stuck in some snow there near the embankment, and it is also tying up traffic. We've got a backup on the southbound lane that stretches just almost back to Spaghetti Junction, more than a mile stretching on the northbound lane. So if you're traveling on I-65, either be prepared to wait for a while, be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. It looks like we're having some problems already with black ice this morning. If not, try and find another north-south way to get through the city, because it looks like there's going to be some congestion here for quite a while. Gene and Doug will keep an eye on this situation and get back to you a little later on Saturday morning.
All right. Thanks so much, Julie Koenig, reporting live for us. And you were talking about so many people being out this Saturday morning. It's unusual, but folks, remember, you still have to be careful.
Yeah.
Even though the streets look clear, they're still kind of dangerous.
And that was I-65,
Yeah,
one of our
right.
major routes. Well, after being cooped up for a week, you may want to venture out to the malls today.
Our Ann Jewell is out at the River Falls Mall this morning, and if people can get there, will they be able to park?
Well, I'll tell you, we are at the big store over here in southern Indiana. We're going to be heading over to the mall after this, and they do have parking here at Biggs. They mentioned they had cleared out the parking lots. Now you can see they're busy stocking up the shelves here. This is Jim Arnold working on the potatoes behind us, making sure there's plenty of food for everyone. Biggs was open actually on Tuesday, been open all this week, one of the few stores that's been open throughout most of the storm. Now, in order to stretch out the food supply that they had, they did put some limits on things like bread and milk. You can only get so much of that, but they say starting this morning, it's all systems go. They've got plenty for everyone, and yes, there is parking. And there are some early morning shoppers that we've seen here this morning. I talked to one woman who had stocked up before the storm hit. She said she didn't really need many groceries. She pretty much came to the store just to see people. So I think that's probably the mindset of a lot of people. They're anxious to get outdoors. And we're here and ready. We'll be here probably through this hour, and then we'll head over to the mall after that, and we'll give you the situation there. Gene and Doug?
All right, and at least other grown-ups, especially if you've been stuck inside.
Shoot, why
kids
not? Ann can do her shopping all morning long. We're going to come right back with more of our special edition live here on Saturday morning. We're sticking with the winter storm for you, and as we go to this commercial break, we're going to show you the latest closings in Kentuckiana.
The news on Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11, is sponsored by the Kentucky Lawyer Referral Service, who can take the guesswork out of finding the right attorney for you.
Hello, I'm Barry Queenan, Executive Director of the Louisville Bar Association. For most people, the legal world is an intimidating place, and finding the right attorney can be a frustrating experience. One way to ease the frustration is to call the Kentucky Lawyer Referral Service, a service offered by the Louisville Bar Association. For the past 14 years, the Kentucky Lawyer Referral Service has referred attorneys in virtually all areas of the law. Call today and let us take the guesswork out of finding the right attorney for you.
They come every year before the big game.
The Clump Brothers.
Clump Brothers.
Super Bucket. 15 pieces of original recipe or extra tasty crispy?
Original recipe! Wrestle ya! But they can never choose between original recipe with 11 herbs and spices or extra tasty crispy marinated and extra crunchy.
Get both. Both and 15-piece Super Buckets are
WHAS 11, our special Saturday morning coverage of the storm in 94 continuing.
Oh, we have some good news for you this morning. Warmer weather on the way, and that should help clear the roads. For the latest on the conditions, let's go back up in Sky 11 with Julie Koenig. Julie?
Hello, Gene. Unfortunately, the predictions for warmer weather is not helping our traffic situation just yet. Let's take a look at I-65 now. We're near the hospital complex over the Floyd Street overpass. As you can see, we have two different problems causing tie-ups in both directions. In the southbound lanes where those emergency vehicles are, there is a car that's overturned. We're told that a fire truck, which I believe you can see down there, might have been involved in this accident, and that it was caused by a layer of black ice. Again, black ice is ice that's very difficult to see. It forms a lot of times over overpasses, which ice up with this cold weather. So again, traffic moving very slowly in I-65 southbound. Now in the northbound lane, there is a semi that is stuck to the side of the road, and it is blocking traffic. It is also causing a backup on the southbound lanes. We've got backups from the north and the south now about a mile in each direction. However, the good news, if you can see, it looks like traffic is starting to be rerouted, getting off 65 northbound at the Floyd Street exit. I would not advise anyone to get on I-65 at Floyd Street simply because there is a lot of congestion there. Again, once again, even without snow-covered roads, we're still having problems here getting around in Kentuckiana. We'll have more on this accident later in Saturday morning. Gene and Doug.
All right, Julie,
thank you very much.
Okay, and we're going to give you a note about that traffic that you'll need to remember in a moment, but most businesses have lost a week of work, and some employees may have lost a week of wages. We sampled a few of our area's biggest employers to see how they're handling making up for the lost time. Humana tells us they're going to pay their employees from Monday through Wednesday. Those were the days they were closed. Now, factory workers at GE are eligible to receive unemployment benefits. As for salaried personnel, they're still trying to work out a plan, but they will get paid. Employees at Alliant Healthcare who missed this week's will have to make it up with flex time. They tell us they have to do that since they are not able to close. And Naval Ordnance employees will be paid for the days the plant was closed, but people at Naval Ordnance who missed yesterday and today must take them as vacation days. And at Ford, officials there say they still need to see what the union contract calls for in this situation. We want to remind you that with the game at U of L going on at 1 o'clock and the traffic problems that you're seeing on 65, the folks want to remind you that if you have to get out to the airport, you better leave early because traffic is going to be tied up from 11 to 4. Also, TARC is going to be picking up people at Bassford Manor and the McMahon Center to take you to the game, if you want to go that way, to try to ease the traffic problems on I-65, so keep that in mind.
Again, I-65, the trouble spot out there. Coming up next here on Saturday Morning News, we're going to get the latest storm team forecast from Ashley Chisholm. The sun is now up, as you can see, live from Sky 11 at 8:17. You're watching a special edition of Saturday Morning, only live on WHAS. We're coming right back.
Meteorologists Chuck Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm. The WHAS 11 Storm Team.
Satellite pictures shows a lot of bright white clouds over Texas, and they will slowly be working their way closer to us through the weekend. Tomorrow could bring a few sprinkles, but in the meantime, south and southwest winds will bring us some warmer temperatures. Right now, National radar does show us a little bit of rain over Texas, and that again will slowly be working its way closer to us. We should stay dry today. A little lake effect snow through New York. Upstate New York got close to 5 feet of snow in some locations, so I guess we didn't have it quite as bad as it could have been, but ooh, that is nasty up there. We are still trying to dig out from our 16 inches of snow, heaviest snow to ever hit Louisville, and now the temperatures will start to help out a little bit. Right now, though, still well below freezing, 13 degrees, 88% humidity, southeast winds pulling in the warmer air at 8 miles an hour. It will get here this afternoon, but This morning at this time, wind chill makes it feel like 0 degrees, and the pressure's rising from 30.48 inches. The high yesterday, 24. The low this morning, our current temperature at 13. No rain, no snow, but we do have some light fog out there. Most areas reporting 3 to 5 mile visibility. It's not bad fog, but the problem is temperatures are still well below freezing, and that moisture is condensing out on the roads and forming some black ice, as you heard Julie Koenig mention earlier, and any slick spots on the roads you have to be careful for. Slush from yesterday has also started to freeze overnight, so we will see very slick roads this morning. We do have a cold front just up to our north. This is not going to plow on through, though. That's good news. It's just going to slide off to the east, trapping all the very cold air to our northeast, and they still could see some lake effect snows, a little bit of light snow through New England today, but we will stay dry, and we'll also have some milder air come in, again with those south and southwest winds. Look at all the moisture over Texas. We'll move up to Arkansas. Tennessee could see some rain as early as tonight, but for tomorrow for us, maybe just a few sprinkles, so it won't be that bad. And high temperatures are going to be the best part. Today we should get up into the mid-30s. Where that front is, cutting right to our north, we'll trap all the 20s to our northeast. And down over Tennessee, well, they'll really start to rebound. High temperatures today near Nashville, around 45 degrees, close to 50 in Memphis by tomorrow. So there is better news in sight, and those mid-40s will start to work their way closer to us for Monday. So there is better news, but make sure you clean the drainage areas in your area free of ice and snow, so when the snow does melt, it can get down there. So here's our forecast for today. Little morning fog and slick roads, but becoming partly to mostly sunny this afternoon, the high 35. Tonight, patchy fog reforming, more clouds moving in. That'll keep temperatures a little milder, only down to about 25 to 28 degrees. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles, and high temperatures near 40. Doug and Jean?
Thank you so much, Ashley. Of course, we are now thinking ahead for you to the next problem. It may occur on your street. You need to think about that. With us is MSD's Bud Chardine, and he has been urging people to get out and clean their own street drains. MSD is also doing it. Bud, are you having any success with that?
Yes, we are, Doug. We've made a great deal of progress since we began this Thursday, and of course we were anticipating the thaw that's coming this weekend and the first of the week. We started in the downtown area, and we put 100 people from our maintenance division to work with backhoes, front loaders, bobcats, shovels, spades, and we started clearing the catch basin grates at the corners of the intersections. We started clearing the handicap ramps on sidewalks, and we started clearing around the fire hydrants. Yes, Jean.
This is Jean. There are some parts of the city that tend to have more flooding problems than other parts. Are you thinking of doing anything special in those areas?
Well, we continue to work our way out, and as of yesterday evening, we were out to Taylor Boulevard, which is in the south end. We were out into the west end around Vermont Avenue. We were in the east end of Jackson and Melwood, and we anticipate Algonquin Parkway. We cleared that from 7th to 24th Street yesterday, and Hill Street 7th to 22nd. So we are getting out into some of the neighborhoods that we have had problems in the past. The thing that we would like to stress, we're going to move as fast and as far as we can. Obviously, when this starts to melt, we may have to backtrack and go through our steps again because it may reclog some of the basins. But if we can get help from citizens in the community, and I stress, I don't want people out there shoveling huge mounds of snow. If they see standing water in the street, we want them to call us at our trouble line. It's 24 hours a day, and we'll get a crew there to unclog that basin. I don't want anyone to become ill or sick over this sort of thing. But if they can do it with a minimum of effort, we'd appreciate their help.
Bud, while we talk to you here, we have your trouble line phone number. We're just going to throw it on the screen.
That'll be fine.
You say it's being answered 24 hours. Give us an idea of what you think could happen if some of these drains do not open up and take some of the runoff away.
Well, I don't think we're going to see any personal property damage because it's not moving toward the homes. What we're most concerned with is pedestrian and motorist safety, because if water stands in intersections, and that's likely what's going to happen if we can't get it cleared away, then it may freeze overnight and it may cause a traffic hazard. I don't think we're talking about basement flooding or water coming in basement windows because it's out there in the street. We just need to get it into the system. our sewer system can handle 1.5 inches or 1.75 inches of water in a very short amount of time, and that's what this translates into. We just need to get it into the system. That's the problem we face.
Answer this quickly for me. A woman called our newsroom before we went on the air and said, a water pipe has busted. It is coming through my walls. I need emergency help. Should she call MSD or the water company?
No, that's the water company. The water company handles all pressured lines that come into the home or businesses. She really needs someone to get out there and cut it off at the meter box at her property line. It sounds as if her service is burst.
All right. Thanks so much for talking with us this morning. Bud Jardine with the Metropolitan Sewer District. Again, this is the trouble line. It's 587-0603. That number is being answered 24 hours a day. If you have any problems with any of your sewer drains, give them a call. And we will be right back with our special live coverage this Saturday morning.
We've been taking pictures of the frozen Ohio River. It's been quite a sight, Jean.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's go up to Julie Koenig. Julie?
Hi, Gene and Doug. Yes, we're flying over the Ohio. We're trying to give you another view of the accident down on I-65. If we take a look toward town, the reason why we're holding here, we've got another helicopter, SkyCare, that needs to land, so we need to keep out of that vicinity. The accident happened near the hospital. There's actually a tie-up in both lanes. An update on the one in the southbound lanes. Recall, we told you about a vehicle that had overturned. Apparently, there were two different accidents. One started with some correctional officers. They were slightly injured. A fire truck went to help them out, and another car slid into the fire truck. So two actual accidents are causing the tie-up, which now stretches back maybe about 3/4 of a mile in the southbound lanes of I-65. Northbound lanes, there's also a snarl because of a semi that has skidded and is kind of stuck to the right side of the road. However, they are now diverting traffic off of northbound 65 to Floyd Street, so you can get back on the interstate a little north of there. Other than that, there's one lane of traffic now sneaking by the accident in the southbound lanes. Fortunately, I don't believe any of those injuries are serious, although we have not gotten that official word, but we have not heard anything worse than that. Again, once again, traffic at a stall in both directions on I-65 right in the heart of downtown Louisville. We'll have more on this later in Saturday morning. Gene and Doug.
All right, Julie, thanks so much. And we did get word that those injuries are minor in that accident. Well, if you're still a little leery about driving on the roadways and your car is snowbound, don't worry. You can still get around this weekend. TARC is offering free rides for the rest of the weekend if you want to catch a ride. All TARC buses will be running their routes, but be prepared for a delay. It is still slow going out there, but to make the ride even better, there is no charge. It is free. And again, TARC, we understand, is going to be picking up people at Bassford Manor and at McMahon Center to take you to the Louisville game. That's going to be at 1 o'clock to try to ease the traffic there. And 65 is a mess, as you saw, and it's going to get even worse because there is also a boat show that's at the fairgrounds. So they're telling you to expect traffic to be a mess. If you got to get out to the airport, leave early.
More live coverage here on our special edition of Saturday Morning is coming right up.
Our continuing special coverage of this Saturday morning news will continue in a moment. Coming up next, in the next half hour, we're going to take you back over to Biggs and show you how things are getting back to normal there. We're going to show you what's going on with the boat show at the fairgrounds. We mentioned it briefly just a moment ago. And we're going to take you back up to Sky 11 to keep an eye on how the traffic is shaping up as we get up and start to get out. So stay with us. Saturday morning continues.
Grimes Vacuum is in on WHAS 11.
Live on Saturday morning from the #1 Saturday morning newscast in the nation, Doug Proffitt, Julie Koenig, and Ashley Chisholm. This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Good morning, everyone. Live at 8:36. Beautiful shots from Sky 11. We're in double-digit temperatures. We're not at 20 degrees yet, but the big thaw is supposed to start today, and this is a special edition of our Saturday morning news. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt, and this morning we're joined by Gene West. Hello, Gene.
Hello, Doug, and good morning, everybody. Let's go to Ashley Chisholm now with a look at the weather. Ashley?
Well, our temperature is supposed to climb to about 35 degrees today. A little light fog this morning, but then more in the way of sunshine. Paducah will be in and out of clouds and sun. Their high 37, but Asheville, North Carolina is looking good. Mostly sunny throughout the day. Their high 49 degrees, 43 in Nashville, so that is definitely the warmest around. As you head up to the north, that's where the cold stuff is. 29 Chicago, 31 Indianapolis, and struggling to reach 30 in Cincinnati. Here's the borderline cutting right across there, but we should start our warming trend today. Here's the forecast. Becoming partly to mostly sunny this afternoon, the high 35. Tonight, more clouds moving in, keeping temperatures milder with a little fog, the low 25 to 28 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles possible, but highs up around 39 or 40. Doug and Jean?
Okay, you're tired of being in the house. You're ready to get outside and hit the roads. You're probably going to wonder what they're like today.
Well, all morning, our Julie Koenig has been hovering over Kentuckiana, checking out the roads in Sky 11. Julie, what do they look like now?
Well, if you're wanting to get out of the house, I would advise not taking I-65 to get wherever you need to go this morning. We're still hovering above a very congested interstate. We'll take a look down. We're in the downtown area of Louisville, right near Jewish Hospital and the hospital complex. As you can see, 65 is backed up in both directions, both the north and the southbound lanes, although traffic appears to be moving kind of slowly now. Here's what happened. There were actually 3 different incidents. The one that's tying up the southbound lanes, 2 correctional vehicles, we're told, were involved in an accident. Minor injuries there. A fire truck went to help them out. Another vehicle hit the fire truck, flipped over. That's caused the problem on the southbound lanes where traffic is still basically at a standstill. Now, in the northbound lanes, there was a semi that was stuck. That appears to have been cleared up, and now the northbound lanes are moving again. Again, the reason for some of these problems, we're told, is a layer of black ice over the overpasses, so be careful. Even though the plows have been through, there's still some slippery driving conditions. We are going to sit down and refuel so we can be up again for the remainder of Saturday morning, so we'll be checking in. Again, a lot of traffic expected at the fairgrounds. We'll keep an eye on that and also on the situation here on I-65. Gene and Doug.
All right, Julie, thanks so much. Julie Koenig up in Sky 11 for us.
Thank you very much, Julie. Well, needless to say, this snow has held us hostage in our own homes, and even worse, some of your cupboards are probably empty right now if you haven't been able to get out. Well, some of the luckier folks here in Kentuckiana were able to do just that over at Biggs. What were the hot items?
Milk, bread, cereal, cheese, lunch meat, stuff for dinner.
And even though many stores have been out of those staples, Biggs, like other Kentuckiana groceries, will stock their shelves once again, and business couldn't be any brighter.
Well, we're going to have a live report for you from the Biggs in southern Indiana to show you how those folks had stocked up all week and are ready for business. Right now, let's go to Chuck Olmstead, who is live for us on Brownsboro Road, where the traffic seems to be moving behind him. Chuck?
Moving pretty well. We are indeed on Lower Brownsboro Road near Chenoweth Lane. For a lot of people, the morning starts out a little bit like the guy behind me. He's trying to get out of his driveway, and just a moment ago he asked me if we had something. It's not quite a hot seller like that at Biggs. It's a shovel. You'd be surprised. You can't find many around town. As our camera takes a quick turn down on Old Brownsboro Road, a lot of roads still covered with slush and ice. No wonder people are desperately looking for shovels. As our camera gives you a look now at Pennington Lane, just one of numerous subdivisions that probably look like picture postcards, unless, of course, you're trying to get out of your driveway. A lot of work still need to be done, and, of course, throughout the county and subdivisions, the county that now promising to get the plows into those areas that they haven't been able to reach until now. Back to you, gang.
All right, Chuck, we saw a couple of evergreens covered with snow there. We're both talking about our trees. We're going to try to get Fred Wishy on the phone if he's at home to see if he can answer some questions for us. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back as our continuing special coverage continues here on Saturday morning. Back here with our special extended coverage. Let's go to Ann Jewell, who's live at Biggs. Ann, are those shoppers getting out there to get that food?
I think as the sun was coming up, we were getting some more folks in. And yes, we're here with some early morning shoppers. We got one here. His name is Ralph Harvey from Clarksville. Didn't have too far to come. Now, you mentioned you had kind of stocked up before the storm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we did.
How was the storm for you then? You had enough food to get through and all?
Yes, ma'am. We had up till Thursday, I had to come out and get some bread and milk.
Yeah, it seems those are the two staples a lot of people were looking for. Let's take a look and see what you got here now. You mentioned you had your list that your wife handed you to come shopping with. We need milk and eggs. Yeah, we got all that. Some bread, King Dons. Now, I don't see those on the list. Are those for you?
That's something separate.
Uh-huh. You going to share those, or are those supposed to be a secret?
Well, they'll be shared.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Now, how has the storm been for you?
It's been kind of nice in a way because I've been off of work, but it's kind of bad in a way because people can't get out and get what they need in the traffic and everything, and it's kind of inconvenient for a lot of people.
What else do you have to do? Is there any other shopping you need to do here?
I don't think so. I won't know until I get home and Mother will make that decision.
You might be coming back out for more, huh?
Might be coming back out for more, yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ralph. Well, we know she's probably wondering where you are at this point. They might be getting hungry back at home. So thank you very much for talking to us. That's the same thing that we're getting from a lot of people around here. They're venturing out, trying to get milk and bread. Seem to be the two big things. Jean,
right.
Doug?
Thank you. And Jewel reporting live from the Bigs over in southern Indiana.
Thanks a lot, Ann. And we're still holding at 13 degrees, but we are expecting the warm-up day coming up next. The complete storm team forecast from meteorologist Ashley Chisholm.
Save like never before at all Furniture Liquidators locations. News Channel WHAS 11 is sponsored by Mountain Valley Water, America's premium spring water. Available at local markets or call for free trial, home or office.
What bottled water are more? Storm Team. Meteorologist Chuck Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm. The WHAS 11 Storm Team.
Well, the Arctic cold blast of this week is finally going to start retreating back to the north because of the jet stream. Over this week, we had the jet stream diving down over the eastern part of the United States. Now it's going to start to lift back to the north, sort of flatten out, and that's going to trap all the very cold air up to the northeast and through the northern plains. But we finally will start to get some of that milder air coming up right into Louisville and southern Indiana. So that's the good news, but it's still just the beginning of this warming trend. It's still very cold out this morning, but better than what we've had. 13 degrees, 88% humidity, southeast winds at 8 miles an hour. Southeast to southwest winds through the weekend will help pull in the milder air, but this morning it's still giving us a wind chill. It feels like 0 degrees out there. Pressure rising from 30.48 inches. The high yesterday, 24. The low this morning, our current temperature at 13. Normal highs and lows about 40 and 23. So you can still see we're very unseasonably cold. No rain, no snow, but we do have some ice on the roads because of light fog condensing out on the roads and freezing, forming a very thin layer of ice. And also any slush from yesterday has also frozen overnight because temperatures are still well below freezing at 13, even though it feels warmer than what we've had lately. Well, on the satellite picture, it does show a lot of thick white clouds over Texas. They'll eventually be working toward us by tonight, tomorrow, and on into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It does look like we're going to see quite a bit of rain coming up and help melt that snow. So clean your drainage areas, but also the clouds moving in tonight. These are lows, not highs. Finally, lows into the mid-20s, right around 25 degrees, maybe 28 in the city. Down to our south, 40s and 50s through Texas and Florida. By tomorrow, more south and southeast winds continuing to pump in the warmer air, but also the moisture air, so we could see a few sprinkles coming up tomorrow. This front slides on to the east, another one just to our north, but not all that bad because we will continue to see that warming trend. Again, clean your drainage areas because the melting snow, along with a few sprinkles and then some rain on Tuesday and Wednesday, it is going to be sort of a sloppy, muddy mess coming up early in the work week. Here's our forecast for today. We'll have a little bit of morning fog. Visibility is running about 3 to 5 mile visibility, though not that bad. After the fog, skies will become partly to mostly sunny. High temperatures finally reaching above freezing, near 35 degrees. Overnight, increasing cloudiness, more patchy fog developing, the low around 25 to 28. Then tomorrow, a lot of clouds around, and we could see a few sprinkles, especially later in the afternoon, and the high temperature up around 39 or 40 degrees. A warm-up will continue on into Monday and Tuesday. Jean and Doug?
Thanks a lot, Ashley. And next week, the Big 5-0, and Gene and I have been talking about those bushes and trees that are bent to the ground coming right up. Fred Wishy is calling us live from his home. He's going to talk to us about that. Stay with us. Special edition of Saturday Morning underway until 11 a.m.
We'll be right back.
Highway 131 Clarksville and now 2005 Highway 62 in Jeffersonville.
Rich, we've been getting some calls from folks with the same problem Doug and I have. We've got some trees that are snow covered and bending over. Fred Wishy's joining us by phone. Fred, what do I do about my trees?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing? Come on, Fred Wishy. What about that magnolia that's touching the ground and the holly tree bent over?
That's it. There are some things that could have been done prior to this storm But when it comes to the magnolia, in particular the southern magnolia, Magnolia grandiflora, that's one that you plant with just an eye toward this kind of weather, and you're going to have damage to it. This is as far north as it can be planted. But, no, you really do nothing. Let Mother Nature melt that ice and snow off gradually, and if no structural damage was done to the tree, if the bark hasn't split anywhere, you will find that it will right itself. We've been watching that over the past couple of days with a dogwood tree that was in close proximity to a heat pump. And last Monday, when that storm hit, I think, because I've never seen this before, but it was the moist air circulating from the heat pump that coated that dogwood tree with a tremendous layer of ice. And the dogwood tree was about 18 feet high, and it was just, right down to the ground. But I think it'll come back.
All right, Fred, thanks so much. And what about the bushes that are still covered and frozen? Are they going to be okay, too? My hollies say?
They are going to be all right, as I said, Gene, just as long as there's no structural damage to it. Just don't do anything. A lot of people will, think that they're trying to help this tree or shrub by brushing things off of it, but you're just going to do more damage that way by adding more weight. So just leave it alone. With temperatures, what they're predicting in the 50s next week, that's about next Thursday you'll see whether or not the plants will survive.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Fred.
Thank you, Fred. Appreciate it. Good to hear his familiar
And
voice.
you were right.
Yeah, well, I remember his advice from years ago. Just don't touch it. You never forget what Fred says. Coming up next on the News Channel, more of our special edition of Saturday Morning.
If you're away from your children.
In case you want to go shopping now and get out of the house, we're going to give you a quick weather update.
Well, the warm-up will be beginning today. We saw 13 degrees right now, but we should make it up to 35 tonight, 25 to 28 degrees for the low, and tomorrow mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles possible, but the temperature in the upper 30s near 40.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ashley. Appreciate it.
All right, and we'll be back with more of our special edition of the Saturday Morning. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Weekday mornings at 6 on WHAS 11. Live on Saturday morning from the #1 rated Saturday morning newscast in the nation. Doug Proffitt, Julie Koenig, Ashley Chisholm, and Fred Wishy. This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Well, folks, we're supposed to start saying goodbye to all this stuff starting today. The big meltdown is going to be underway in Kentuckiana, and live all morning here on Saturday morning, we're bringing you a special edition to track the meltdown, also to continue to follow the road problems that are occurring out there even as we speak. Hello, at 9 o'clock, I'm Doug Proffitt, and this morning we're joined by Gene West with us. Hello,
Good morning, Doug and everybody, and already we're seeing some progress. Most of the reporting stations are in the double digits, and that's not double digits with a minus sign in front of it either. That's good news.
Finally.
Ashley Chisholm has the weather for us. Ashley?
That's right. We're talking about a warming trend, and it's still cold out there this morning, but it's still a lot warmer than what we've had. 10 degrees, very popular number from Bedford to Cincinnati down to Fort Knox, 15 in Lexington, 17 in Evansville. Now, the only cool spots, Indianapolis with 8, Bowling Green, very chilly this morning with only 9 degrees, but everyone else has started out just about in the double digits today. Here's the beginning signs of our warm-up. For this afternoon, we'll get rid of that fog, light fog that we're having this morning. Plenty of sunshine up to 35 degrees up above freezing, finally. Overnight, more clouds moving in, and we'll start to see some fog again, but the low temperature will be held in the 20s, 25 to 28 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, possibility of some sprinkles, but the high temperature, those are going to be rain sprinkles, no flurries tomorrow. We're going to have a high up around 39 or 40 degrees, and even warmer by Monday.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashley.
Well, if you weren't able to make it into work or you've been cooped up and getting about, let's go to the command center where Jim Turner has been live to see how those folks there are still trying to dig some folks out this afternoon and this morning. Where am I? Morning and this weekend. Jim?
Good morning again, Gene. We're here now with Dick Bartlett, the Director of Emergency Medical Services in Louisville. It has been a busy night in some respects. Mr. Bartlett, what can you tell us?
We are seeing overnight that we've had a couple of hypothermic type situations. We found one gentleman who apparently intoxicated down in the snow, had been there for a while. He was hypothermic. We found another patient who apparently had been had an incident and had frostbite on their hands. And we're seeing an awful lot of people that are slipped and fallen on the ice all throughout the community because it's really slippery out there.
You were talking about a couple EMTs or a couple of paramedics, in fact, who were having trouble even walking around.
Just a little while ago, we were up on Interstate 65. LFD had an incident where they had slid into another vehicle, and I was down at University, checked on the patient down there, and was talking to the crew, and they said when they got out of the ambulance, their feet just went right out underneath them. So it is very slippery out there on the interstate. In fact, in that same area, they've got a tractor-trailer in the other lane now that is overturned. And I've called and talked to Bill Seymour this morning. He was going to try to get some state crews up there with some salt.
He's a state highway engineer.
Right. He's the state district engineer. He's going to try to get somebody up there to put some salt and sand in that area since we've had a couple of incidents.
So even though it's supposed to hit 35 degrees today,
that's by mid-afternoon, folks. Right now, it's slippery out there. Underneath that snow is a layer of ice. I personally spun off on the interstate this morning trying to get in. Got into a snowbank, had some nice help from some folks, and that's why I got here this morning.
Also, I understand that while we've got her here, while we have Gene and Doug here, you said you had a question for Gene West this morning?
Yeah, now, come on. EMT Gene West. Kid, come on. I'm a kid to put your uniform on you. We're going to put you with an ambulance and get you out there working, you know. You got to keep those skills up, girl.
I know. Mr. Bartlett was my teacher for my EMT class. Great teacher. Got to get that certification in order, Mr. Bartlett. Good to see you.
Thank you, ma'am. She was one of my ace students, by the way. Top notch.
Gene. Good for Gene. Gene, Doug, we'll pitch it back to you now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting a little deep in here.
Oh, well, in case you're worried about getting your bills mailed in time, there's still some hope for you. The mail carriers have been hitting the roads since the snow blanketed Kentuckiana, but other residential mailboxes may still remain empty for a few more days. The postmaster says he hopes business will be back to normal soon, but it depends on how much snow and ice melts. You can help the carriers by shoveling a path to your mailbox.
The unemployment office is now back in business. Big crowds and a long wait were the story when the office reopened on yesterday. A lot of you are wondering if you will be able to collect your unemployment benefits. Well, if you couldn't make it to work this week, that decision will be made on a case-by-case basis, by the way. The unemployment office, by the way, is open today, right now, until 4:30. When the snow hit Kentuckiana, it took its toll on the folks right here, of course, in town and on businesses. Most businesses lost a week of work. So we decided to sample a few of our area's largest employers to see how they are making up for lost time. Humana is going to pay their employees for Monday through Wednesday for 3 days during the snowstorm, Monday through Wednesday. Now, factory workers at General Electric are eligible to receive unemployment benefits if they like. As for salaried personnel, they're still trying to work out a plan, but they will get paid in some fashion, we are told. Employees over at Alliant Healthcare who missed this week will make it up with flex time, 24-hour operation, and they can't close their doors. That's why they say you got to make it up with flex time. Naval Ordnance employees will be paid for the days that the plant was closed, but people at Naval Ordnance who missed Thursday and Friday must take them as vacation days. And over at Ford, officials there say they still need to review the UAW contract. And Gene, we already know what UPS did. Of course, UPS is now our largest employer in Louisville. They paid their part-time workers double time if they made it to work during the snow.
Wonder if our boss would fall for that.
Flat chance, no way.
Now, if you're looking for a place to spend some money or you just want to get out of the house, one popular place is going to be grocery stores like Biggs. That's where we're going to find our Ann Jewell now at Biggs. Hello, Ann.
Hello, good morning. You know, you mentioned all those businesses that had been closed. Biggs was one store that did manage to open on Tuesday. They've been open through the storm. And I'll show you, these are the two big items that they're selling a lot of today. Milk, of course, and the bread. Now, I mentioned they had been open since Tuesday, one of the few stores. They had to try and stretch all of their food products out to serve everyone, and they had been posting these signs, especially with the milk and with the bread, limiting the number of gallons or loaves of bread that you could get, but they say that they can throw this away now. They've got plenty. Come on down. They've opened up the parking lot. They've plowed everything. They said it wasn't easy. In fact, their produce truck got stuck in the parking lot at one point, but that everything is stocked now. They've had their workers here overnight, making sure that they'd have plenty for the big crowd that they expect today. And you can see some shoppers are starting to come in, some early morning shoppers who are taking advantage of Biggs being open at this time and their parking lot being clear and everything else. We have talked to some folks who had stocked up before the storm, but they were venturing out out, even, as one woman said, she doesn't need that many groceries, but she just wanted to see some people. And Jean and Doug, you know, in the newsroom, we've been pretty much living on donuts and pizza throughout the whole week, and now that I'm in the midst of all this gorgeous, healthy food, I don't know quite what to do. Jean, Doug?
Bring some back for us.
Good idea.
That would be a good idea. Now, again, we want to tell you, we're not telling everybody to get in your cars and go on out. We're just telling you that if you need to get out and get some food, that some of those places are open. As Mr. Bartlett said, please be careful, though. The streets are still very slick, and folks are still having accidents out there on them.
And we're going to tell you about water main breaks and a lot more local news happening around the area when our special storm team special edition of Saturday Morning comes right back. Stay with us. The sun is up and the meltdown should be on later today. First, we're up 3 degrees.
Oh my
to
goodness.
16 when we
16
came on the air. It
degrees.
was 13. Well, I guess the warm-up's going to come.
Oh, yeah. As we've been telling folks across the city, one problem that will most likely last through the weekend will be your water pipes, both in the house and deep under the ground.
The Louisville Water Company continues to dig through the icy streets to fix those problems. Working deep in holes across Kentuckiana, we found water company workers going at it pretty hard, many times standing in freezing water knee-deep in mud. Inside people's homes, people's faucets were breathing air when they grabbed them and turned them on like that lady. After about 6 hours on this one street, we were there when the water finally came spitting out. And one thing this woman did that you can do also if you don't have water is boil your snow for washing dishes or using this around the house, but do not drink this water. Now, they expect more problems to occur in your house, by the way, as the thaw begins. So we checked with the water company a few minutes ago, and the latest number of breaks that they're working stands at 36 across the city.
Also, the cold temperatures and power outages we had this week forced people to go to dangerous extremes to stay warm.
That was the case last night right here in town. A family of 4 lost their home yesterday. They were using a stove to try and keep warm inside. Fortunately, all in the house, including 2 children, were able to get out in time.
And just the day before Thursday, that story once again, this time at 6th and Magnolia, again, a family trying to stay warm by using their stove. This time, battling flames and icy conditions, 2 firefighters were hurt.
With more on keeping warm safely in your house, we're joined this Saturday morning by Fire Chief Paul Barth. He's with the McMahon Fire Department. Good morning, Paul Barth.
Good morning.
We've seen a lot of fires, but the LG&E says the power is back on. What's your main concern right now?
Our concerns are still alternate heat sources. Even yesterday, we had an incident where someone was using a stove to try to dry their clothing. So we're really concerned about people using space heaters, ovens to keep their houses warm. If they don't have heat, we're encouraging folks to go to the American Red Cross shelters and get warm, or go to your local fire station to get warm.
Even those who have power and have heat, sometimes because this weather has been so cold, many folks, and even in my house, we've been using space heaters to heat large rooms or basements or areas that don't get a lot of heat. Do you have any suggestions for us if we have to use those space heaters, be they electric or kerosene or gas?
Well, always keep a space heater away from any combustible. If you're using these kerosene heaters, make sure you're using the right type of kerosene for the heater. Never use gasoline or any other type of fuel. And when you're filling those heaters, make sure you fill them outside. And if you're going to keep that kerosene stored someplace, store it in a safe place outside of your home, and really be careful with those kerosene heaters.
I guess we all seem to learn from other people's mistakes. What exactly have you seen people doing? Maybe it's something just common sense they overlook that could catch any of us.
Well, you know, a lot of times, you know, you want to get a lot warmer with these space heaters, and you'll just put it in your room and you'll walk away. You know, if you're using space heaters, make sure you stay in the room with them, because you could walk away for just a moment and you could cause a fire.
All right, Chief Paul Barth with the McMahon Fire Department, thanks for coming downtown this morning and joining us. Some good advice there.
Okay, we'll be right back as we continue our special coverage, this live Saturday morning program. Let's see if Sky 11 is back up. Yeah, they got some gas. They're back up in the sky, and look at downtown Louisville. We'll be right back with our special coverage.
Channel WHAS 11 is sponsored by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. All-around coverage, all around Kentucky.
Insurance means safety.
Meteorologists Chuck Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm. The WHAS 11 Storm Team.
Well, again, we are on the air here with you until 11 a.m., a special edition of Saturday Morning, and Ashley is tracking those rising temperatures. Up 3 degrees is not bad since we started at 7.
Not bad at all, and we do have a reporting station out in Evansville. They have 21 now. I'll show you that in just a minute. First, let's take a look from up above, about 22,000 miles up, looking down, and we do have some brighter white clouds up to our north over the Great Lakes, but what we're watching is all the moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico and even the Pacific into Texas with all these clouds. That is also causing some rain to fall over the state of Texas, and it's working its way slowly up into Kentuckiana. We'll see that rain probably in the form of sprinkles tomorrow, but more rain coming up for Tuesday and Wednesday when it's really going to be kind of messy out there as the snow begins to melt. This is the beginning of our warming trend, but again, be careful on the roads because the slush from yesterday is still ice. It's well below freezing, just warmer than what we've had throughout most of this week. 15 degrees in Paducah, but look at Evansville, 21 degrees already, and it's just after 9 o'clock. That's warming up pretty good here. 10 in Bedford, 13 Cincinnati, 19 degrees in Jackson, Kentucky, and also South Bend has 14. Single digit still in Indianapolis. They have 9 degrees, but so you just can't help but notice how much better it feels out there. No 22 degrees below zero anymore. It is 16 in Louisville, 88% humidity. South winds helping pull in that milder air at 8 miles an hour. Still makes it feel cooler though. Wind chill is 3 degrees as the pressure holds steady. Our high yesterday, 24. The low this morning, 13, but no rain, no snow. We're in pretty good shape, but again, take it easy on the roads because we still have some ice out there and light fog. There is a front just to our north. It's not going to drop through. It's just going to slide to the east, allowing all that milder air to move in over Kentuckiana, trapping all the colder air up to the northeast. By tomorrow, we're still getting a lot of south and southwest winds, bringing in the warmer, moister air, and then I think we'll see some sprinkles by Sunday, but highs right around 40 degrees. So it is looking better. Look at the panhandle of Texas, though. They'll be in the 60s. Wouldn't that be nice? Here's our forecast for today. Little morning fog giving way to mostly sunny skies. The high temperature around 35 degrees. Overnight, more clouds moving in. That'll help keep temperatures on the mild side. A little patchy fog developing down to 25 to 28 degrees for the low. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles possible, but that high very close to 40 degrees tomorrow. Doug and Jean?
Thanks a lot, Ashley. We're getting some calls in our newsroom from some UPS employees who are saying, hey, I didn't get double pay. Well, we did say some employees did out there, and it was only the air sorting employees, not all of them. Others of you who feel that UPS needs to pay you for the days off, you should take that up with the company. And flying high now
is our Julie Koenig up in Sky 11. Hello, Julie.
Hello, hey, I'd pay those guys overtime for getting our heater, and I really appreciate what UPS did. We're back here over I-65. Looks a lot better than it did about 30 minutes ago before we had to sit down. Let's take a look at the interstate now. Before, as you'll recall, we had traffic backed up in both directions. Now it's moving very easily. There had been 2 accidents that caused a tie-up in the southbound lanes and also a tractor-trailer that was stuck in the northbound lanes. That seems to be clear. However, as you head towards Spaghetti Junction, there is a tractor-trailer that's kind of stalled near the 64-65 split. That might cause a little bit of delay, but nothing compared to what we saw about 45 minutes ago. Again, this is going to be a busy day at the fairgrounds. We're going to head that direction next and once again check out all the access to the fairgrounds. About 3 different events going on that's going to cause maybe some congestion toward the noon hour, including the U of L Cards game, which is on, we are told. And then as we approach that magical hour, 10 o'clock, when the shopping malls open, we'll be circling the various malls in town to give you an idea of what kind of tie-ups you might expect if you, like others, are out there trying to cure some cabin fever. Gene and Doug.
Okay, Julie, thank you very much. Live in Sky 11. We've got a lot more coming up here on Saturday morning.
We will be right back as our special edition of Saturday Morning continues. And you're looking at pictures of Brownsboro Road, still snow-covered as folks are trying to get out and about tonight. We'll be right back. Some of this weekend's events had to be canceled or postponed. Here's a look at some of those that we know of.